What's up, YouTube? It's Big Fish, and we're here with another reaction video. Today, it's the man, the borders are Tom Homan. He's going to talk about these next 100 days, okay? Today was the first step in getting some of these. Actually, no, that was yesterday. Today's Wednesday. Tuesday was the first step of getting some of these illegal immigrants out of here. Did you hear that keyword? Illegal, okay? I heard that 700,000 people, illegals, that have committed a crime that's walking around the U.S. Technically being an illegal immigrant is a crime in itself. But let's start this video.
Tom Homan, thank you so much for joining me. I want to ask with something that you said last night, that your deportation operation starts today. Did it?
Yeah, ISIS, they're out there enforcing law out today. And of course, as I've said numerous times, they're concentrating on public safety threats. That'll be our priority right out of the gate. So ICE officers are back to doing their job.
Where are these, are they actual raids? And how is it different from what we saw yesterday or the day before?
Well, look, I wouldn't call them raids. They're target enforcement operations. They know exactly who they're looking for. They know pretty much where they'll find them. So again, these are well-planned operations. They're well investigated, so they have a lot of backup information when they go out there. A whole team goes out for officer safety concerns. So this happens throughout the nation. I mean, I'm not going to tell you a specific location.
Like you said, no specific locations. Why are we going to give you a heads up if you know we're coming for you? We're just going to pop out. Pop out and show niggas, okay?
Out of officer safety concerns, but ICE is back doing their job effective today. They haven't been able to do it for years.
Well, I'm going to follow up on that in 1 second, but who is ICE going after right now? I know that you and others said several times that
illegals.
It is the people who pose the biggest public safety threat to Americans who would be approached and deported first. Is that still the case?
Yes, people in the country illegally that have a criminal conviction that makes them a public safety threat. That's our priority.
How are you finding them?
Again, these ICE officers across the country have a 90-day docket. They know who these people are. When they don't show up in court, they fail to leave as ordered by an immigration judge, or they have, NCIC information on someone who was arrested for a violent crime here that's in the country illegally. They take those leads, they do investigative work, and through that work, try to find out where these people may be located. And that's the whole investigative piece they do before they go out and actually make an arrest.
And so what is happening as we speak is limited to those with criminal records?
That's the target of this operation, but like I said many times, in places like sanctuary cities where we can't arrest a bad person in the jail, we would like to have access to the jail to arrest a criminal alien.
Which is crazy. Just give these people the access to the jail so we can go ahead and get them out of here. All these different countries sending all of their inmates and making their countries better. You gotta take them back, because they can't stay here. Too much crime is happening with Americans. You think we want more crime with illegals on top of that? No!
In the safety and security of a county jail, which is safer for the community, safer for the officers, safer for the alien. But when you release a public safety threat out of a sanctuary jail and won't give us access to them, that means we got to go to the neighborhood and find him. And we will find him. But when we find him, he may be with others. Others that don't have a criminal conviction but are in the country illegally, they will be arrested too. Because we're not going to strike, and this is the difference between the last administration and this administration.
Yes, sir.
This is going to enforce the immigration law. There's nothing in the INA, the Immigration Nationality Act, says you got to be convicted of a serious crime in order to be removed from this country. So there's going to be more collateral arrests in sanctuary cities because they forced us to go in the community and find the guy we're looking for.
You hear that? It's going to be collateral. Because they want to hang out with illegals who are not committing crimes, but that's the problem. They're illegal. This is what we voted for. Trump got the popular vote. This is what we voted for. Get them out.
Looking for.
Let me just make sure that I understand what you're saying, because at first you said that the first targets are those with criminal records, but you are also saying that those who are undocumented in the U.S. also who don't have criminal records, people who are working in their communities, maybe even have spouses who are American citizens, they could be swept up with ICE today as well?
What I'm telling you is when we go find our priority target, which is a criminal alien, if he's with others in the United States illegally, we're going to take enforcement action against him. We're going to enforce the immigration law.
Do you understand that?
What happens then? So the ICE officers gets an individual or a set of individuals and apprehends them. What next? What do these ICE officers do with them? Because in some cases, and you know this far better than I, they haven't been deported in the past because their country of origin won't take them.
Well, what happens after arrest? They're taken to an ICE office and they're processed and put in detention. While they're in detention, ICE officers work on travel documents. The host country sends travel documents saying, yeah, this is our citizen, this is our national. Then we make flight arrangements. So they could be in detention from a few days for a few weeks until that removal is made happen.
What if the host country doesn't want them, as has happened in the recent past?
We have various plans. We have various plans. Other countries are willing to take them. We have third safe country removals. So that's something we're working through. But I think you're going to see less of the recalcitrant countries that won't take their citizens back under this president, because this president has vowed that these countries will take them back. So I'll leave that up to the White House, but there will be negotiations with those countries who are pushing back on recalcitrancy, and they will be removed.
You know,
Take your people back. Why you don't want your people? Because they're criminals and you sent them over here? We don't want them. Biden, worst president. He's out. Kamala, never becoming president. Out. It's a new era. 20 years. 20 years straight Republican. Democrats ain't getting back in the office. Yes, sir.
I think that there is some kind of image that people might have, given how much we heard President Trump and you in the months during the campaign, and certainly during the transition, talking about what's going to happen of people being rounded up, loaded on buses, and dropping them off on the border. Is that how you see this happening?
Well, I don't like the analogy of rounding up. Look, again, this is a targeted enforcement operation. The president's been clear on this. We're going to concentrate on public safety threats. But in sanctuary cities, where they don't let us take that public safety threat into custody and the safety and security of a jail, we have to go find him. If he's with others in the country illegally, ICE will not turn a blind eye to that. ICE is going to uphold the oath they took. They're going to enforce the laws enacted by Congress and signed by a president. And they're going to do that without apology. I mean, if sanctuary cities force us in this position, that's exactly what's going to happen.
How many deportations?
Why do you keep asking the same questions just in different ways? What don't you understand? If you're illegal, we kicking you out. It doesn't matter if you're not a criminal. I'm sorry. Democrats just try to use these people so they can get more votes so they can win. They talking about if you don't even got an ID, you can still vote in some states. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? FEMA, $750. North Carolina, Florida. Are you crazy? We're not even helping our own people, veterans, homeless. We out here giving out needles for free to drug addicts. California, they had all this money for homeless. What happened to it? This shit wild.
Deportations do you think that you can carry out this year? Last year, for example, the Biden administration did deport about 270,000 people, which is the most since 2014. I know you said ICE has not been doing its job, but there have been a lot of deportations? What's going to happen coming up?
That is not accurate. The Biden administration is hiding the numbers. If you look at those removal numbers, over 80% were Border Patrol apprehensions on the border that were immediately removed. They weren't ICE removals. So if you look at what ICE has done in the interior of the United States under 4 years of President Biden, they have the lowest numbers of removals in the history of the agency, despite a historic illegal crisis on the southern border. So they can claim 240,000, whatever removals. That's simply not the fact. And under the Trump administration, were there fewer removals? Yes. And why was that? because we secured the border. We weren't releasing millions of people to the United States to have to go find and remove. So it doesn't matter how many people were deported, it's how many people were released in this country, and millions were released into this country by the Biden administration that were not released by the Trump administration.
I just want to be clear. I'm not obviously getting these numbers out of thin air. They are coming from the U.S. Customs and Border Protection.
It's just like they said when crime was down in America during Biden's administration. Come to find out, crime was on the rise. We don't believe you. This is why mainstream media is dying. We don't believe you.
Agency, you're saying that they're giving us false information?
The numbers are accurate. I'm talking, where do those removals come from? And they're not interior ICE removals. 80% of those removals were arrested by Border Patrol. So ICE didn't make the arrest, Border Patrol did, and they were removed by ICE on the southern border.
Understood. You told my colleague Caitlin Collins in December that you didn't know how many people you're going to deport because you didn't know the resources that you would have. How much money do you, and I understand that you've been in this job now for a matter of hours, but you've been working on it ahead of time for a long time. Do you know how much money you're going to need from Congress to carry this out?
Look, I've been working with members of Congress, and the whole team's been working on to come up with a number that makes sense. But like I've said many times, we're going to use whatever money we have and do the most efficient operation we can. The more money we have, the more we can do. And I think this election proves that the American people support the removals of criminal aliens in this country. So I'm looking for Congress to come through and give us the budget we need.
One of the president's executive orders suspends the U.S. refugee program, and that action could leave about 2,000 Afghans in limbo who were previously approved to resettle in the U.S., and that includes families of U.S. service members. Why shouldn't those people be allowed to come in the U.S. and stay as refugees?
Look, we need to secure the border. We need to stop the bleeding, right? We can keep bailing the water out of the boat, but we got to plug those holes. So right now, it's all about securing this nation, securing the border, and we'll address that in the coming days. But right now, we're going to shut that border down and get a hold of this problem. What's happening on our border is the biggest national security vulnerability I've seen in my career, and I've got over 35 years doing this. We need to take action to secure the border, and we'll discuss the other policies down the road. But right now, it's all about securing the border and saving lives.
So I just want to, again, make sure I understand this because this is all new and very, very important with regard to the Afghan refugees, that it was a blanket executive order, but perhaps it could be amended or specific groups of people could be addressed as you get your arms around this?
No, the order stands as is, but there's a lot of work that needs to be done. We know that a lot of these refugees weren't properly vetted. There are things we need to fix that the last administration broke before we allow the program to continue. So we're on it. We'll be discussing it more in the future.
Okay, so Afghan refugees, children in some cases of U.S. service members, they are no longer safe in the United States.
Bruh. What are you trying to make this out to be? What do you want? Huh? If you gotta go, you have to go. There's no crying, boo-hoo, sobbing. We just don't care anymore. This is what we voted for. You gotta go. Mom and Dad can go with them if they need to. But we're over it. Okay? We're over it.
I want to say to safe United States, the President issued executive order to give us time to get our arms around this massive problem of immigration in the United States, massive vetting problem that we got to get our hands around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where we're at.
That's where we at.
So they'll be deported or not let in if they're on their way.
If they're in the country illegally, they have a problem. It's not okay to enter this country illegally if that's what you're talking about.
But if they were admitted as refugees and now that...
Anyways, she's trying to push her narrative. Once again, you're not coming. If you're not legal, if you didn't got the correct paperwork, you're not coming over here. Okay? We're done with the bull crap. Biden sucked. Kamala was the border czar. Sucked. She didn't get no support from them when she was running for president because she didn't care. It is a new era. It is a new time. We're not playing with y'all. You got to go. I live in Colorado. I'm in a sanctuary state. Okay? Those 14 Venezuela, the Chindaga, locked them up. They got to go. Don't play with Trump. Don't play with Tom Homan. We are locked and loaded. All right. It's Big Fish. We out. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. Leave a comment down in the section. Tell me how you feel about this. Thank you.